Has this ever happened to you? You've been seeing someone for a while and things are going really good, and you're having a great time together, and all the while in the back of your mind, you can't help but to think that at some point you're going to have to tell them about your condition. Then some time passes, maybe it's a few days, a week, or longer, and you know it's time. And you find yourself sitting across from someone who has absolutely no idea what's about to happen. Then you tell them, and you watch the energy shift right in front of you before they even had a chance to open their mouth and respond. And somehow you already know that whatever they say next, it's still going to be a no. If so, you're not alone. I've been there several times myself, but over time, after telling a lot of people about my condition, my perspective on what a no actually meant started to change. And that's what we're going to get into today. So I'm going to share my perspective on what a no is actually telling you when someone says it. And later in this episode, I'll give you a few things that can help you start seeing a no as something that works in your favor instead of believing it's costing you something. Hi, I'm Kat Dupree, and I help people to navigate life with herpes. So, like I said, I've been there more than once. And I can remember this time when I was seeing this guy, and I felt like things were moving along. So I knew that I couldn't put off telling him any longer. So we were out to dinner, and right before I told him, I got really quiet. And anyone who knows me can tell you if I get quiet, something is definitely up, because that's totally not me. And of course, he noticed that I was acting different. So naturally, he asked me, "What's wrong?" And that's when I told him. Then I watched him go into total shock, like a deer in headlights. And once that wore off, he got really quiet and cold on me for the rest of the night. I mean, we kept sitting there having dinner, but it felt so awkward because we barely said anything to each other. And regardless of how awkward it felt, all of my experience with disclosing told me it was best to keep quiet and let the moment do the talking. And if he had questions, I'd share more. But he didn't have any questions. Instead, he tried making small talk. And I knew right then and there it was a no. And at that time, it felt devastating. Now, before we go any further, if you just heard that story and you thought, I wish I had someone to talk to about everything that I'm going through, well, that's exactly what Herpes Wellness was created for. It's a private community where you can talk to other members, you can ask questions, and you can get support from people who've actually been where you are. I always say that herpes isn't something you get through alone. It's something that you get through with other people. So go check it out at herpeswellness.com. The link is also in the description. Okay, so the story I just told you about, I want to break that down into what that night was really telling me. First, he actually never said the word no to me, but he didn't have to, because his silence did all the talking. And for a long time, that really bothered me, and I took it personally because I thought that his reaction meant that something was wrong with me. But here's what I've come to realize. A no doesn't decide your worth, and it doesn't decide what's possible for you going forward. All it means is that person in that moment wasn't the right fit. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, I had other people after him actually say the word no to me flat out. But the more people I told, the more those no's started to have a different effect on me, where I started to become thankful for them. Now, I didn't see it that way at the time. It's only something I really understood when I started looking back on all those moments. But all those no's kept adding up until it led me somewhere that I never expected, which is to my current boyfriend. Now, before we were together, we were just friends. And I told him I was building a business, but I wasn't ready to tell him exactly what it was yet. Each time we got together, he'd ask me about it. And I kept telling him that I wasn't ready to share what it was. Then One night, I finally decided to tell him. But instead of just saying it, I went to my office, I grabbed my laptop, I set it down on the counter, and I pulled up the website for Herpes Wellness. And then I said to him, I want you to take a really good look at what I'm working on. And then he got quiet and said, I'll be right back. I've got to go to the bathroom. And off he went. Now, the entire time he was gone, my mind was racing with thoughts like, what is he thinking? Maybe I shouldn't have told him. He's probably going to ditch me. So I took a breath and I just sat there nervously and waited. And he finally came back after what felt like an eternity. And he said, I think that what you're doing is beautiful. How can I help you? Now, we stayed friends for a couple of months after that as we continued to grow closer to one another. Then he told me he wanted to be in a relationship with me. So, what do these two stories actually prove? 1, a no is not a verdict about you. It doesn't decide your worth, and it doesn't decide what's possible for you going forward. That guy in the restaurant going cold on me didn't say anything about who I am. It just said something about what he could handle in that moment and nothing more. 2, be thankful for the no's. Instead of feeling like a no takes something away from you, look at it as if it's doing you a favor instead. Why? Because a no saves you time and energy that you may have spent on someone who wasn't going to stay anyway or may not have been around for the right reasons. Finding out how someone feels early on and letting go of that relationship also helps to open the door to meet someone new. 3, every no gets you closer to a yes. Like I've said it before, rejection is redirection. It just moves the wrong person out of the way and brings you closer to the right one. Every no I got before my boyfriend was a part of what eventually led me to him. All right, that's all I've got for you today. And again, if you're tired of navigating your condition alone, come join us at Herpes Wellness. You can join for free and get instant access to forums where you can ask questions, seek advice, and help other members along their journeys. Sign up today at herpeswellness.com. The link is in the description. If you want support on the go, then you can download the Herpes Wellness app for free in both the App Store and in Google Play. If you're concerned about privacy, we've got you totally covered. The app icon and push notifications say H Wellness, so if someone happens to see your screen, you won't disclose your status unintentionally. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on audio, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Also, be sure to show us some love and give us a like or a hype so that other people can find the podcast. And if you like what you're hearing, or if there's something specific that you would like for me to talk about on the show, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you the next time on the Herpes Wellness Podcast. Bye for now.